Hello everyone, my name is Jionghao Lin, I'm from Monash University, and today I would like to give a talk about learner-centered analytics of feedback content in higher education. So here is the outline for my today's presentation. We have two research questions to analyze the feedback content based on the learner-centered feedback framework. So first of all, I would like to talk about what is feedback. So feedback is one of the most effective instructional methods which can help students improve their learning outcome. And here I would like to give you an example of feedback that's kinds of assessment written feedback. So normally students submit their work and then the tutors or the instructors can provide some feedback comments based on the student's performance. And then we also identify several research gaps, including on Zoom? Stop share the screen? Okay. Yeah, I'm logging in Zoom. Oh, sorry, I forgot to. Okay, here. I'll give you a minute, don't worry. Sorry, just a technical issue in Zoom. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we identified two research gaps from the prior works. So the first one is the current feedback practices are underdeveloped, and actually, so the effective feedback may not demonstrate effectiveness on the student learning outcome. And then second one is little past attention has been given to providing instructors with tools for crafting effective feedback for students. So that's about the evaluation of the effective feedback. And we also build upon the Phillips Dawson's work about the interview of the effective feedback components. So from the student perspective, the content of the comments should be the most effective part of the feedback. And then from the instructor perspective, the stage task to provide iterative feedback should be the most important one. And then in the recent works from the learning analytics, we found that there are many works doing the feedback content analysis, and they focus on the good feedback practice, like the NICO feedback practice, and also the Hattie and the Templin 4-level focuses. But it should be noted that effective feedback should deliver high quality content and also demonstrate the effect on the student improvement. For example, like the student grade change. So in the previous year, LUC 2022, we have one submission like extracted textual features from the feedback and then measure the student grade change on the subsequent assessment. So they consider that as the proxy of the student learning outcome. However, we also identify several limitations in their work. So the first one is the n-gram used in their study is kind of a data-dependent feature, and which might lead to the overfitting issue. And then the second one is, in their book, the connection between the first and the second assignment is unclear. So according to the Henderson 2019, feedback may not influence the students' improvement if the first and the subsequent or the next assignments are different. And then third one is they may provide insufficient interpretation of the predicted result for the educational researchers in their feedback practice. So we propose these research gaps, and we also refer to the recent learner-centered feedback framework. So here's the, sorry, Zoom may still, okay. Okay, then we're back to the learner-centered feedback framework. So this is the recent proposed learner-centered feedback framework, and propose several attributes to help the educational researchers and also the learning analytics researchers to better understand the effective form of the feedback. And based on this framework and also the existing research gaps, we propose two research questions. The first one is, to what extent are features of feedback related to the student grade change on the subsequent assignment? And then the second one is, to what extent do features of feedback content contribute to the predictions of student grade change? So to answer these research questions, we rely on the data set provided by the Monash University and postgraduate level course. So we collect more than 200 feedback from this course, and here is the demographic information of our data sets. So regarding the assignment design, so students need to submit their research, it's kind of a report proposal that's about some application in data science as the assignment one. And then the instructor can provide the feedback based on the student assignment one. And then student can use the feedback to help them improve their work on the assignment two. So you can see that assignment two is about the final report. So students need to use the feedback and then to finish the remaining part of the report, including the data analysis, implication of the data science, and also the conclusion part. So in my study, I mainly focus on the instructor feedback about students' report proposal. That's about a student's assignment one. And also use the grade from the student assignment two. So you can see that we measure the students' learning outcome by using the assignment one grade, subtracting from this assignment two grades. And we have the matrix at here. So you can see the yellow cells basically just a student's grade, not increase. And then the green cells are the student's grade with increase. And here's the attributes we use for our analysis. We just investigate the learner-centered feedback framework, including the characteristics and also the components, the artifact level. And here's a description of the attributes, and you can find the details in my paper or in the learner-centered feedback framework paper. So to do the analysis, we got some inspiration from the prior works. So regarding the first attribute, that's about strengthening teacher and the learner relationships. So we use the Platonists and also the Platonists from the Platonist strategy packaging to analyze the Platonist component. And then we also rely on the look, kind of traditional natural language processing tools to analyze the relational impacts, cognitive impacts, and also the affective impacts. And then also build upon the Durham work, we also analyze the four-level focuses and also feedback type based on the Hattie and the Templing work, including the task focus, process focus, feeding up, feeding forward, and also feeding back. And finally, we also investigate the feedback readability and also the other metrics, for example, like the details levels of the feedback by using the Cocoon Matrix tool. And for the analysis, for the research question one, we conducted a man-Whitney U test with the R effect size, and then also the chi-square test with the Crimus-Phi effect size. For the research question two, we also use several predictive models based on the prior works, like logistic regression, random forest, and also gradient tree boosting. To provide the interpretable results, we also rely on the existing expandable framework, that's SHAP. So here's the results for the research question one, and we also provide appendix in our paper for more results. So you can see that there are lots of results showing the significant difference between the increased and also the not increased groups. And now I would like to mainly focus on the feedback forces. So you can see that attribute 3, 5, 6, and 7, we have several significant results, like the task level negative feedback, that's a negative feedback, process, that's a process focus, and a self-regulatory focus, and feeding up. So our results demonstrate some positive correlation with the group that students' grades increase. So for example, like negative feedback should be in the polite language, or positive feedback should highlight student, the learner's strengths about the work instead of praising the student self, like you are smart or you are good. And also the feedback messages should also include some successful goal. For example, like the feedback should be well written or the structure should be clear, these kinds of successful goals. And also the suggestions should be also related to the student improvement on the subsequent assignment. And also we also suggest that the feedback should contain some questions to help students improve their self-regulatory or cognitive ability. For the results on research question 2, here's the classification performance for the 3 different models. We demonstrated, we measured the model's performance by using classification accuracy, F1 score, AUC, and also Cohen's-Kappa. So you can see that these three models basically just demonstrated similar performance. But we just picked the gradient tree boosting to show the experimental results. So here's the result showing by the SHAP framework. This is the feature importance sorted by the important level, from the most important one to the less important features. And we also demonstrated the bin swarm plots to show the correlation, whether the feature values positively or negatively correlated with the students' learning outcomes. And here's the main takeaways for the research question 2. So that's about automatic evaluation of feedback content. So we can see that GTP model can achieve promising results in predicting student performance. And then the GTP model can also be used to predict whether the crafty feedback content will help students improve their grades on the subsequent assignment. And then the third one is interpretation by the SHAP framework might also help instructors observe the influence of the using different feedback content as we demonstrated before, and also help the educational researchers to design feedback. And we also propose several limitations in our work. So the first one is feedback data set from one course might not be the representative one for other courses. And then some feedback content might be repeated since the same instructors might mark the different students. So that's all for my today's presentation, and we are from the Center for Learning Analytics. Thanks for your listening.